Guys, I just run out of like ideas to do for thumbnails. You can only do so much in a car. But anyway, speaking of cars, we're going back to the automotive series after we took a little weekend break there from, Knott's Berry Farm. And anyway, this is going to be a two-parter. I was just going to go into the funny automotive, but I need some context here. So anyway, years ago, I bought a 1997 Mazda Miata. It was a green with a black convertible top. And I think that particular one had cloth seats, which I didn't really care for too much. But it was the only one available because when I went to go to the dealership, which was, CarMax, still around, I was interested in the Honda S2000, but someone else got there before me and they're already test driving it. So I kind of went, oh, well, I guess I won't look into that because that was also a convertible. But I saw the Miata there and I was asking my friend, who had a Miata. Well, he used to be my friend, So I said, we got 20 years of all this. But anyway, I asked him, how's the Miata and stuff. He said, it's really nice. It was a 97. So went ahead and took a test drive. I liked it and I wound up buying it. So during that time, I still had my Honda. I went ahead and I didn't have the Honda. Did I have the Honda? No, yeah, I had the Honda, and I was just like, no, wait, yeah, I had the Honda, and I had got rid of it. But anyway, so I have the Miata, and back then with the cars, they didn't have built-in alarms or anything like that, so you had to go get a third-party alarm to put in. And so there was this place in Covina, California called the Whistle Stop, where you can get your stereos. Yeah, you could change out the stereos if you want in the car. It's not like they are now where they're built in and you have no choice. But I got an alarm installed, so they installed the alarm and stuff like that. And then, I'm driving around the car for a little bit. And then one day I was going to work and I was coming up to what they call a stale green light. And I noticed the car off to my left in the left-hand lane wasn't moving. So I kind of slowed down a little bit and wondered what was going on. And I kept making sure that my light was green, to make my left-hand turn. And it still was. And so I went. And as I was going by, and everything started going in slow motion. So, when you see that in the movies, this is a real thing. You start seeing things in slow motion. It's weird. So what I had noticed, the reason the car on my left wasn't moving was because there was either a dog or a cat in front of their car, and they were trying to, get it out from in front of their car so they can move. And they watched me as I was making my turn, and I kind of saw from the corner of my eyes, I saw this big red truck with this chrome grill coming right at me, and I sort of held on to the steering wheel and I went, oh fuck, and boom, I got hit. I got T-boned on the side, and the car just started flipping around like this, and I got shoved, I don't know how many feet. I think they said 50 to 100 feet. I got shoved over because a guy was going probably about 50 to 60 miles an hour, totally ran the red light. So I'm here bouncing like this, and I'm just stiff. I had my head back going like this, going... there was just no time to react. Everything just sped up after that. The slow motion ended and I was just bouncing. I know I hit a truck. I kind of careened off to the side and hit him. And I went over the meridian. Well, I went over the meridian. That's when I hit the truck. And then I went straight up and I hit the fence. And that's the only way I stopped. And you can, I guess I was flooring on the gas because I didn't move, and the action that I was currently doing as I was making my left was still there. And I finally let my foot off the gas. I kind of just sat there, and the airbag had what do they call it, imploded or whatever, had ballooned out, and I was just like sitting there going like, what the fuck happened, right? So, you know, they had people coming up to me and they're knocking on the window. You go, you got to get out, the car's smoking. And I'm kind of like, what, you know? And so I like, the first thing I did, and you know, I looked over and I checked the light, and the light coming in the cross traffic light, it was still red. So I'm like, oh my God, it wasn't me. The other guy ran the red light. That's all I could think about. It wasn't my fault, right? I don't know why it was like the first thing, but then I got out of the car and, you know, was smoking a little bit and stuff. And I was just like, whoa. And they go, you all right? I go, yeah, I think so. And they're wondering, you know, should I, you know, do I need to see a doctor or something? I go, no, I'm okay. You know, at the time I felt okay. And for a long time, I didn't realize my glasses flew off. So I had to go back to my car and got my glasses. And in that time period, because this happened close to my house, and I was living with my parents at the time. So, you know, someone lent me their phone because I can't remember why I didn't have a phone. I think that was the day I forgot my phone of all days, right? And you got to remember, cell phones at that time, basically, you had to pay a lot to get a lot of minutes. It's not like now where you pay little and you get unlimited minutes. You had to pay for minutes. But someone let me borrow their phone. I called my parents. My parents came out, making sure I was okay and stuff like that. And then they asked me, do you need an ambulance? I go, no, I'm okay. I felt like I came out of there without a scratch. I mean, if you guys know what a Miata looks like, it's a two-person vehicle with no back seat, very small. A lot of people said that they're like, you know, little coffins on wheels. I mean, it's so small. You have no room for anything. And it took on a Ford F-150 truck. So I came out of it unscathed, so I thought. And then the other guy, like, he broke his leg because of the impact and everything like that. And, you know, wound up, it was obviously it was his fault. And, you know, I had someone, they left me their phone number and said, hey, you know, I saw everything, what happened. It wasn't your fault. The other guy ran the red light. I just don't have time to stay here. Here's my number. So if you need information, I go, okay. So after all was said and done, my car's totaled. Everything gets towed away. I go home. I didn't go to work. I'm all shook up, and you know, I don't have my car there. I think I just sold my Honda at the time, and so I really had no car. But a little bit later, after I was able to calm down, the adrenaline went down. I was having a hard time breathing because the impact, I guess, from the side. The pleural space around my lungs started filling up with fluid. And, you know, I didn't really have medical insurance because there was a time, guys, where you had a choice. You can either have medical insurance or you didn't have to. And for my job, you know, they weren't really offering medical. And this was a nursing job that I was at. So I opted not to get medical to get more money. So I didn't go see a doctor like I should have. But anyway, yeah, so I suffered a little bit, and you know, in pain, hard to breathe, but I did recover. You know, eventually, I didn't even see a doctor. I did recover, and but yeah, that was just like, you know, my first car accident, not my last, but that was a major one. The other car accidents I've been in have been like little fender benders, you know, no big deal. But this one, being hit by a Ford F-150 going 50 to 60 miles an hour. And the good part about it is they turned with me. As I was turning left this way, they went into me like this, and they wound up hitting the hardest part of the car, and that would be the firewall between me and the engine. And if they didn't do that, I don't think I would have been here. I think I would have been killed. And the tow truck driver said that the Mazda Miata is the only car that doesn't flip when you impact it. It does not flip. And I was lucky on that one, because basically, again, I wouldn't be here if the car flipped, because it would have wound up upside down. I probably would have been dead. So I have no idea how I beat that out and survived. So, and then you would think that I would never buy another Mazda Miata again, but I did. And I actually found another 97 Mazda Miata, same exact color, green with the black soft top and or convertible top, but the seats were leather, black leather. So it was kind of like an improvement, and it was a lower price too. So, and then the other one that was totaled, it was basically, since it was totaled and I only had it for 3 weeks, I only had that car for 3 weeks, that the insurance paid for it all. But the other guy's insurance, I think he only had like $5,000 in property damage, and it had to be split among, I think, 4 or 5 parties. And I wound up with the majority of it because I was the one who got hit. But yeah, guys, I was in a car accident and I survived. And let me tell you, the impact of it was I became afraid of intersections. And I always approached them very cautiously, and I always got like anxiety and stuff, and I had a hard time going through intersections because that's where I got hit. And it basically made me just say, fuck it, you know, I can't live my life in fear, you know, I can't fear intersections. And then finally I just made myself go through intersection after intersection and just try to forget about what happened in the accident and all that stuff. And I eventually got over it, so I don't get anxiety when I come up to an intersection, which, guys, you got to understand, that sucks. Every intersection I would have anxiety and fear of going through it, thinking I'm going to get hit by another truck. And I just had to like train myself to just deal with it and get through it. But that was like a very hard life experience to go through, and just to feel the trauma of it and the fear of, you know, going through intersections was just unreal. I never felt like anxiety like that. And God, you know, I'm so glad I got over it, because it just seems like every road has an intersection, right? But, you know, I needed to tell the story so it has context to the story I'm going to tell tomorrow. It's just a funny one. And I just want you guys to remember, you know, when I got the first Mazda Miata, I went and got an alarm installed at the whistle stop. So just keep that in mind, because that's probably where I'm going to continue with the other story, and might be a little bit shorter. But yeah, I just needed you guys to get context of when I make that other video. But anyway, guys, thank you guys for listening. I apologize if I seem like I'm all over the place. I'm tired. The weekend I have, my sinuses really just started kicking in after I went to Knott's Berry Farm. And like, I was supposed to do a lot of editing that day and night and have other stuff prepared, but I wound up trying to go to bed dealing with my sinuses. I spent like 4 hours tossing and turning in bed. I didn't get a lot of sleep. And then, you know, the dog comes and wakes me up at 6 a.m, you know, because they're hungry and they want to eat. And so I had probably lived off of like 2 hours of sleep. My sinuses were still like killing me, and I just had to you know, take some Claritin, take some Tylenol, and then that actually cleared me up, and I was able to make it through my Sunday. And but yeah, I do apologize for being all over the place, but I think I got the story out there for you guys about me being in a car accident. Anyway, guys, Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys for, just even listening to me babble on these daily vlogs, So anyway, guys, thank you so much. Have a good night.